Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am the UK Foreign Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, and delighted to be paying my first visit to the United Nations. As you know, this month Britain holds the presidency of the Security Council, and we're going to hear today in the session about the UN's role in the continuing struggle against Daesh. This is an area where military action has been very successful in driving Daesh from practically all the territory that it used to hold in Syria and Iraq. But as we have succeeded in doing that, and it is a major achievement, we've also seen Daesh evolving into a terrorist network that poses a continuing threat, continues to mobilize its followers, change its strategy, evolve its approach. So the UN has a very important role as the organization at the apex of the international rules-based system, and Britain wants to give every support to the UN in its efforts to continue our successful fight against Daesh and to find new ways to prevent the re-emergence of their military capabilities, but also their attraction to the many followers that they unfortunately have in all of our countries. So I've got time for a couple of questions. We'll start from James from the BBC.
James Rollins, the BBC. Has the temporary release of Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe brought forward the day when she is freed completely? Is this a signal from the Iranian authorities that that is now a real prospect? Is it an acknowledgement by Iran of the part the United Kingdom has played in trying to shore up the Iran nuclear agreement? And finally, is it partly because you are Foreign Secretary and no longer Boris Johnson that this has come about?
I don't think the last question is right. Boris made enormous efforts to try to free Nazanin, and I think all of us welcome today's news. It's extremely positive, and we want to thank the Iranian authorities for what they're doing, whilst not forgetting that she should not be in prison in the first place. Nazanin is innocent. She has a 4-year-old daughter, Gabriella. She has a devoted husband. She has friends in both Iran and the UK. And frankly, every day that she is in prison is a reminder to the whole world of a gross injustice. So we call on the Iranian authorities to capitalize on the goodwill from today's announcement by going the whole way and releasing Nazanin and allowing her to go back to her family, come back to the UK, which is where her home is, and end this totally appalling injustice.
Of Britain's position on the Iran nuclear agreement?
I don't link those issues. Michelle from Reuters.
Reuters, a question on North Korea. You met with Secretary Pompeo yesterday. It's just been announced that he's off to Pyongyang tomorrow. So far we've seen some gestures of goodwill from North Korea, but no apparent concrete action. Do you think some kind of timeline should be put on North Korea taking some concrete action, and what action would you like to see? And on Brexit, do you think that Parliament will accept whatever deal Theresa May can get?
Well, on the Brexit question first, I think Parliament will only accept a deal that is consistent with the letter and spirit of the referendum result, the decision by the British people to leave the European Union, and indeed that is the only agreement that Theresa May and her government, of which I'm a part, would ever put to Parliament. And we are hopeful, I think cautiously hopeful, rather than wildly hopeful, that we will come to an agreement with the EU, because we think it's in their interests as well as ours, that is both the right thing for the EU in terms of continuing to keep Britain as a great friend and partner of European nations going forward, but also one that's compatible with the desire of the British people to change our legal relationship with the EU, and that's what we're working very hard to achieve. On North Korea, I think the efforts by the American administration are to be commended. I think there has been a real change in the tempo and the mood around this issue, different to many years. Secretary Pompeo and I had discussions about North Korea. He told me that a potential visit was imminent. I think it's very good news that he's going back. He's put a huge amount of personal effort into this. But what I would say about North Korea is that if we are going to make progress quickly, then the international community has to be united in keeping the pressure up on North Korea through sanctions. All of us, the UK, the USA, all the other permanent members of the Security Council share the ambition to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula. But the more we weaken the pressure on North Korea by allowing or make it easy for them to dodge the sanctions, the less pressure they will have to do that. And so this is a moment when the international community must stay united. Thank you very much. Thank you.